Lord Mayor, Minister Shatter, members of the Oireachtas and members of Dublin City and other councils. On behalf of the board and staff of GLEN, I'm delighted to welcome you here to launch the GLEN Progress Report for 2010 to 2012. We're delighted to be here in the Oak Room of the Mansion House in the presence of the Lord Mayor, Naoise Wirry, and delighted the Minister for Justice and Equality, Alan Shatter, will launch our report. Please give a very warm welcome to the Lord Mayor of Dublin, Naoise Wirry.
Thank you very much. Minister, guests, you're all very welcome to the Mansion House and to the Oak Room today. It's very interesting to read the report, GLEN's report, see how much progress has been made across a whole range of areas such as workplace, education, health and policing. I was especially taken by the Workplace Diversity Project and how you've successfully engaged with major companies such as IBM, Accenture, Ernst & Young, UCD, Sodexo, Microsoft and DCU. I was also impressed with the joint project with Dublin City Council that examined the economic case for diversity and equality, how these qualities of openness and diversity across all grounds of the equality legislation, including disability, gender, ethnic status, sexual orientation and so on, can make the city more competitive internationally in attracting foreign direct investment and key skilled workers, as well as tourists and international students. Ireland and Dublin has changed hugely over recent years, and we have made great progress as a society in opening out to difference. The civil partnership legislation is probably the most recent example. It is great to see couples being able to legally enter into a whole range of rights and responsibilities, and then to have a joyful wedding celebration, many of which are held at the City Hall down the road, one of the city's greatest buildings. Congratulations to GLEN in convincing the International Lesbian and Gay Association Europe to hold their annual conference in Dublin 2012. Dublin City Council was delighted to welcome delegates from all across Europe, particularly those who may not have had the same welcome and freedom of expression in their own capital cities. Dublin City Council sponsored a reception for delegates at City Hall. Fortunately, I was away out of the country at the time, but I was delighted to ask the Deputy Lord Mayor Claire Byrne to do the official welcome. Dublin is now the welcoming home to many lesbian and gay men from all around the world, including those who have come from abroad, in order to be free to be themselves in the accepting city that is Dublin. It is particularly appropriate to have this launch here today in the Mansion House. You may know that Daniel O'Connell was the first democratically elected Lord Mayor of Dublin in 1841. His portrait has pride of place in the main entrance hall. We know him as the Liberator. He fought for equal rights for Catholics, and he also saw the indivisibility of human rights, and he also fought for the abolition of slavery. Lesbian, gay and bisexual people make a great contribution to our city, to its vitality and to its cultural life. The annual Pride Parade is now a great carnival, growing in numbers every year. I'm delighted to say that Dublin City Council supports these festival events. Once again, Fáilte over Fad and Seanio, you're all very welcome. Thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Kieran and I'm chairperson of GLEN. I'd like to thank the Lord Mayor Naoise Wirry for his very kind words there, for his very encouraging words, and indeed for inviting us in to his home, basically, to the Mansion House and here to the Oak Room. And it's a great honour, Lord Mayor, that you are able to be with us here today. It's also a great honour that the Minister for Justice and Equality, Alan Shatter, has taken time out of his very busy schedule and who is here today with us to launch our progress reports. The report shows tremendous progress in a range of areas across work, education, health, law reform, recognition of our relationships, and in areas of policy. Of course, recognising progress made doesn't mean that we have yet arrived at the final destination. But what it does do, what all of this progress does do, is it provides a fantastic platform for making progress into the future. In terms of the areas such as parenting, which the Minister has made very strong and positive comments previously. And it is always GLEN's aim that the final stage is where to be lesbian or gay is to be unremarkable, where it is totally accepted, where there is no issue, and there's almost a kind of there's a particular test, I think, that we can use, is that where a couple, a lesbian or gay couple, displaying ordinary affections in public would be seen to be unremarkable and people would not pass any notice on it. That may be a few years ahead, but I think that should be our goal. I'd like to thank all of the people who achieved this progress, the highly skilled and highly professional and very committed full-time workers in GLEN. I'd also like to thank the board of GLEN, which provides the essential governance framework that allows this progress to be delivered. And I'd just like to pick out in particular Owen Collins, who is our Director of Policy Change and who is a stalwart of GLEN and who is now on sabbatical in New York. But equally critically, I think, is I would like to thank all of those who we work with in partnership to achieve this progress, because it's not us alone that does it. It's people like the ICCL, for example, who are represented here today, and we worked on them with that brilliant publication, Know Your Rights, which we launched in the forecourts just before the end of the year. So the various agencies and groups that we work with that we would like to thank, such as the government, the departmental officials, elected representatives at local level and at national level, and all the NGOs and the representative bodies. And I'd like to pick out in particular, I think, the fact that GLEN has, and for a long time in the lesbian and gay community, have worked with the Gardaí in advancing equality in terms of the public domain, in terms of public safety. And I'd like to welcome the representatives here today of G-Force, the Garda lesbian and gay group. And I suppose it's critical to thank our funders, our Atlantic Philanthropies, governmental agencies such as the HSE and others, because this funding is vital in allowing us to engage on a daily basis to make this progress happen, to have a seat at the table where decisions are made, where policy is formulated, where services are designed and assessed, and to have our voice heard. And I think it's an essential part of a democratic society that it takes place in the Oireachtas, but it also takes place in other fora. And it is vital that groups, our communities like the lesbian and gay community, have the resources to be able to participate effectively on a day-to-day basis in those areas. But I suppose I picked out some areas of progress, but I think the greatest and the most critical one that has taken place is the enactment of marriage-like civil partnership. These extend extensive rights and responsibilities to lesbian and gay couples. And I think and just to kind of characterize or to symbolize it, there are couples living today in Ireland who would not be able to live and work in Ireland if it weren't for the Civil Partnership Act and the rights of immigration and the rights of residency and the right to work here. And I think that is a tremendous achievement for our society, for our Oireachtas and for our lesbian and gay communities. And what also civil partnership is doing is that it is transforming not only people's lives on a daily basis, but it is transforming our society as well. Because of all of those, there are now 1,000 civil partnerships, and they're happening 2 a day, and they're happening in every county, in every city, and every parish throughout the country, and that is transforming the social landscape. And what we say in GLEN is that these couples who publicly celebrate their civil partnerships with their family, with their friends, with their neighbours, with their communities, that they are the heroes, the pioneers of the increasing moves towards civil marriage and full constitutional equality. So to conclude, thanks again to the Lord Mayor, Naoise and Kieran, to Minister Alan Shatter for being with us here today, and for yourselves coming here to share in this launch.